So I'm like, okay, they're about to stop. So I took, way and passing the second girl. First girl decided to turn, and we just didn't stop. So we ended up colliding. I had a scooter accident, guys. I had a scooter accident. This is severe. This is I'm Just Sharing with Shonda. I'm Shonda, and this podcast will be about my experiences with my customers and how they impact my life outside the workplace. I have segments to keep me on track. My first segment is Think Piece. This story recently just happened, which is crazy. 4th of July. But this is after the 4th of July. It's just what I want to get into. My whole story is pretty interesting. I'll just start off with, I woke up, my sister woke me up. She came in and she wanted a dress from me. Didn't call or text. It's 8 a.m, so I'm like, sleep. But she woke me up. We had a nice conversation. I was like, I'm up. I'll go to the gym. I went to the gym. Very nice, cool, calm, collected. I did what I needed to do. Then I came home, got myself together, and cleaned up. And I was like, okay, time for a little cleanup session. And I just planned on what I needed to do. I knew I needed to go out, so I went to Barnes & Noble and picked up Atomic Habits. I forgot the name, but just picked it up. Really good book. And after Barnes & Noble, I went to Chick-fil-A, got some food, and then I came home. I ate, and then I watched The Bear. Very, very good show. And after I watched The Bear, I took a nap. When I woke up, it was probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I want to get out. My friends had their parents over, so that was nice, but I didn't stay. I decided to go downtown Harbor. My first time, 4th of July, being in downtown Harbor, just the way it was. Pretty nice. So I parked, I forgot what the place is called, but right next to the harbor, there are apartments. Very nice. And that was good parking because, who wants to pay for parking, right? So, and I don't think they charged for paying for parking on the 4th of July. Come on, America. Why? But I ended up walking around the area. I forgot which side I was on, but you do have to walk around the whole harbor to get where I was, which is the main area. But before I went to the main area, there was this thing going on. I didn't know what it was. I didn't get to ask, but they had a DJ, they had food trucks, they had alcohol. I'm the only one, by the way. I'm just decided to go. I wanted to go and just do something. I did call my sisters and just see what they were doing, but they already had something going on, or I just felt like it was just wrong timing. But that's okay. In this area with the DJ, had old school music on. I was feeling it. No drinks. I'm like, I'm going to get on the dance floor and party or whatever, but I did end up getting drinks, which was fine. There was a camera crew out there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on Fox 45, maybe WJZTV. Whatever. Who knows? But if you see a girl in an orange dress, I'm like, that's me. But so afterwards, just have my alcoholic beverage. I ended up going to the main part. I don't know where the dragons are, and you get to go out on the boats. That's where it was, in that area. And I was just sitting. I took my book out. Wasn't Atomic Habits. It was Set Boundaries and Find Peace. Forgot the name. Very good book. Well, that is the name. Sorry, I forgot the name of the author. But good book, and I read it. And, just reflecting on being okay that I'm by myself on the 4th of July. But then I also wanted to see my friend. So I just started texting my friend and just seeing where he was. He was out, and him and his fiance were just moved to Canton. And I was just, asking what he was doing. He said, we're going to see the fireworks at Waterfront park. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Looked that up and I was like, oh, wow, it's 11 minutes away from me. And I was like, can I tag along? He's like, sure, come on. He said we were going to scooter there. So I was like, cool. So driving from where I was to them is 11 minutes. The cycling, because they didn't have scooter, but cycling on the GPS said it was like 20 minutes. So I'm like, okay. First time on the scooter. I haven't been on one. It was really nice. Sorry. So I just did my calculations. I was like, should I drive to them and then scoot where they are or just stay where I'm at and scoot my way there? I decided to stay where I was at and found a scooter and it was on my way. So I'm like, okay, had to download the app and all that verification. Takes some time. But I was on my way. I got on the scooter and I'm like, okay, yes, this is great. There were two girls ahead of me on the scooter. We're going in the same direction, but it looked like I was with them, but I wasn't. All separate. But it was nice. We're all flying, we're floating, right? So going around the area on the scooter, we ended up back where I was on the scooter, and the second girl, they both slowed down. So I slowed down. So I'm like, okay, they're about to stop. So I took way and passing the second girl. First girl decided to turn and we just didn't stop. So we ended up colliding. I had a scooter accident, guys. I had a scooter accident. This is severe. So when we collided, like her friend was like, she said her name, but none of us hit the brakes. So we were just like going forward. Ended up being pushed off. She ended up being pushed off. I slid for probably about like 10 seconds. Now, the shoes that I had on were sandals, and I really, really like these sandals. She had on tennis shoes. I wasn't planning on getting on the scooter, but it's a scooter. What could happen? What could happen? But my sandal on my left side ended up like turning on the side or whatever. And then the other one ended up back like where my ankle like is. And I'm like, okay. She's like, oh my God, like, are you all right? I said, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm okay. I ended up looking down and just seeing that there was blood about to peak. And she was like, but are you like good? And she looked down too. I'm pretty sure she noticed how much I started to bleed. But I didn't want to, I'm like, no, like, it's okay. Like, I'm glad you're fine. Have a great day. Yeah. So I ended up trekking. I just wanted to get where my friends were. I wanted this to be a good night. I wanted this to be a good day for me. So I ended up going, I'm looking down as I'm like scooting. I'm like, oh my gosh, this blood is like crazy. And I have on white sandals. So it's sweat mixed in with blood. And it looked like a puddle that I was sitting in. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, that's a lot of blood. I'm glad I'm not like woozy when I see blood, because I'm like, all right, I'm cool. But there are police around. So I'm like, there's a bunch of police around. So I'm like, I stop and I'm like, excuse me, do you have a first aid kit on you? The dude, I'm pretty sure he was being lazy. Because I'm pretty sure in the police car, there should be a first aid kit. But they were eating whatever they're enjoying the festivities too. He was just like, if you go in the middle there is like a first aid kit place where you can get like Band-Aids and stuff. I'm like, okay. So again, there are people, so I'm being conscious that I'm bleeding on my foot. I have to look around and where I'm going, and I also have to look around for this first aid place, like, or wherever it could be. And people are, it seemed like with scooters, they're unfazed. So I'm like, excuse me, as I'm going. And I just still have to be aware of my surroundings, but also still trying to, tend to my injury. It didn't work. It didn't end up going. So I was like, fuck it, I'll figure it out. So, after just going. It's like, you know what? I just have to go. Just have to leave. So I ended up going and just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Halfway there, I think I'm on, not Boston Street. I'm near my friend's job, in that area. I stop on the side and, oh, before I went there, sorry, I ran into a friend. That was from high school. And she's just like, oh, hey. And I'm like, oh, hey. I turn back around, say hi to her. And of course, when you see a friend, you want to visibly like look at them, see how they are. She was like, oh my gosh, like if I'm like, I know I was in a, scooter accident. I'm okay. She said, well, you need to like fix that. I said, no, I am. Like, I'm going to, don't worry about it. I said, life is life, and I just need to keep on trekking. Like, I need to meet my friends. So focused on getting to my destination, because that's all I wanted to do. Like, I will not let this ruin my night. So I ended up going before I ended up, like I stopped on the side because like, she was like, oh, well, you have a water bottle. I'm like, oh yeah, I do. So I ended up leaving her. I go and then I stop on the side and I start like putting water on it. I'm like, like, oh my gosh. Okay. And luckily I had one little small Band-Aid in my purse and I had to figure out where I'm going to put this Band-Aid, which one is more important. I've decided to put it on my middle pinky toe. It's not my pinky toe, my middle toe, and do it, but it didn't stay. It wasn't that kind of Band-Aid that like stay up. So I'm like, all right, no, it's okay. No, I'm attending to this. So I'm going and I wasn't looking at where I stopped, but then I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh, CVS, yes. The security guard came out. I was like, do you know if they carry sandals? He said, you want me to carry your sandal? I said, no, do you know if CVS carries sandals? And he was just like, oh, no, we don't. I'm like, okay, fine. So in my head, Band-Aid, peroxide, tape. So, just looking at aisles, nothing says what it needs to say that I'm looking for. So I ended up going to a person and I'm walking with my shoes in hand because my feet are like in pain. So I'm like limping, like, oh gosh. So, asked the lady, like, do you know where your Band-Aids are? And, peroxide, she said, aisle 17. I said, okay. So I find the Band-Aids. I got the one that like stays. It's a good one. It's a big one too. So I'm like, okay, not saying that I have big toes, people, but hey, just preparing for the worst. Cause it was a lot of blood. And I needed peroxide. I didn't want to get the bottle. So they had like this bottle that like had the spray top. I'm like, perfect. Cause it's going to fit in my bag. I had like a little bag, that fit like my book, my keys, my wallet, some other small things. It was a pretty good bag. That one's safe. That's a good bag. Excuse me. But after I was like, okay, I need to find the tape. So I go up to the top and they don't want to look down. None of the employees want to look down because they see me limping, but none of them want to look down. And he was like, tape is in aisle 9. I'm like, okay. So I grabbed the tape and then I'm like, I'm ready to be checked out. He was like, oh yeah, you can use the self-checkout. It's like, I didn't know that it was like in the front of the store. Like there's like this thing that was blocking it. So I couldn't see the self-checkout. But I check out my stuff and I just go on the side. It's still like space. This place had carpet. So I just sat down on the carpet and started to tend to my injuries. So I just start moving everything to the side. I use the peroxide. I said, this is going to burn. You know how like you prepare yourself, like a small cut on peroxide. You'd be like, okay, I didn't feel that. But these are open and meaty. So I was like, okay. So I was like, deep breaths, 1, 2, 3, then spray. And it was just like sizzling. I'm like, it was a lot. So I was like, okay, let me let that like sit. As that's sitting, I take the tape to wrap up my broken sandal. Now, my left sandal only had one part that stayed together, so that could work. But the other sandal completely broken. I can't put my my foot in it because it lifts up and then it just doesn't stay. So take the tape, wrap around it, wrapping around. And that was okay. I ended up taking the Band-Aids and wrapping that around too. So I'm like, okay, we can make our way. As soon as I got up, the tape did not stay. The tape did not stay. And the woman behind me was like, oh, those shoes. I'm like, yeah, no, like I'm gonna figure it out. It's okay. Thanks. So then I end up leaving CVS. I'm still happy that I've like attended to my wounds. It's not bad. They're not open and could get infected, So like that was great, pat on the back there. I go out to my scooter and my scooter is now red, so it's dead. And I was like, okay, great. Luckily, there was a scooter right across the street. So I go across the street, open up the app. It's not scanning. There's an error right now. Try another one that's green. I'm like, this is green. The scooter is green. So then I manually enter it in. There's something wrong. It won't take. I'm like, God dang it. And I'm like, so I call my sister and I'm like, what's happened to me? She's drinking. So like, she's like concerned. I'm still concerned. And she's just like, I just think you should go home. I said, I will not go home. I will not let this ruin. I don't want to go home. I seriously just don't want to go home. I want to see the fireworks. I want to enjoy this. I do not want this to mess with me right now. I do not want this to mess with me right now. So, she was like, my sister was more concerned with like safety. There's been shootings. It was a week ago of a block party being shot up, and my sister was just worried, and I appreciate her worry, but I didn't want to live in fear. I was like, I really just want this to just be an okay night. I don't want this to ruin. I don't want anything to ruin this. I really just want to see my friends. I want to see the fireworks. I want to be out. So, ended up going up the street to another scooter, which worked out perfectly. I'm like, fuck yes, great. So now there's still I forgot like what time it is. It's like 9:15. So and the fireworks start at 9:30. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna make this? I'm gonna make it, but it's still like 15 like 15 minutes away from where they were. Again, this is a 20-minute scoot to where I need to go, where I could have just took my car, been there 11 minutes, scoot where I needed to be. But that's okay. It's whatever. I was like, wow, what a journey. But after going, I, got to the waterfront park and I'm like, it's dark. I can't see them. I'm texting as I'm going and just in pain as I'm walking. I was like, I just need to be on the grass because this hard floor, like I still have my sandal in my hand. And it was just very hard to just keep walking. And it's so funny because people are noticing like me injured, but they still want to injure themselves. I'm glad they didn't like stop. Like, are you okay? I was okay, but like there was another wound underneath of my toe, my big toe, that just scraped and it was just burning. So I took the time to take another Band-Aid and put that on there, right? And still with my other shoe off. So I'm walking with one shoe on, and that's my right shoe, which was perfect because that was the most like tender underneath. So I was like, okay, great. Once I put the Band-Aid on in that shoe, it wasn't as bad. But my other shoe, again, still broken. I can't put it on. So I'm walking with one shoe off and just going. And I'm texting my friend, I passed them because I walk in the back area, like I need to be on grass. And there was more people on the sidewalk area where they were sitting. So I knew that I just would have got attention. In the grass, this is just a girl walking. She's cool with her feet off. It blends in. I go with the environment, which was perfect. And I ended up getting to my friends and then telling the story like, oh my gosh, anything for you. But at the same time, it was like, this is for me. I really just wanted to be out. I did not want this to ruin my night. Then I just realized the blindfolds that I had on to just make sure that I get this and just get where I needed to go, which was perfect. And after I told my friend the journey that I went through to get there, he was like, oh my gosh, you're just so independent. And I'm like, right? Like, I really, 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 really love how independent I am. Because I only imagine that if I was with somebody, we would have sacrificed something, maybe going home, maybe not being in a certain area where I could see the fireworks at a good place, whatever. I'm just glad that I can just think of, like, I know that I need to get some places. This just ended up working, and I also just did not want this to ruin my night. And just, I have a goal, and that's me getting to a destination, and I'm going to get to that destination, which is fine. Um, and it just made me think about independency and the 4th of July and what people do to persevere through things that's just really tough. Me being physically injured to still get where I was just insane to me. Mind blowing that I made it, and I made it. So I try to make this connection into work. How did my story go into work? Well, with my customers who come into the store, knowing that they are independent people, sometimes they just want me to hold their hand throughout the process. And I can't do that all the time. I have my own thing that I have to worry about. Again, I'm the manager, and I do need to solve problems, which I do give people solutions. It's just they need to take that and apply it for themselves. Like, it's just so funny to me when people are like, I just need to sit here and I'm going to make this call. Because if you need to talk, I'm like, I don't need to. I don't need to. That's your account. I gave you what you needed, and just take that, and that's fine. You got it. Like, you got it. And I can't say to customers, once I give them options or a solution to something, as much as I want to say it, I want to say, you'll figure it out. Because that's all we can do, is figure it out. I figured it out through this hard night, which was okay. And customers figure out stuff after me giving them solutions, or just them taking it into their own hands because they need a solution and they'll find one. But just saying that you were independent and you got it is just the only thing that mattered. In customer service, in my journey to get to see fireworks with friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, was just it was just great. I was just happy that I wasn't going to let that stop me. And it was really good. And just with people at work and all of their stuff that they go through, I'm just saying, like, you are independent, and you're a very strong person. You didn't get where you are by not being one. So I know that you will figure it out, and you're independent, and you can do it. And I'm going to put in some things so you guys can see my injuries. They are graphic, and that's okay. But I'm just going to start off with showing you the tape that I had to, or my Band-Aid that I had to put on my toes, which is okay. My three little toes, they're gonna heal, and that's all that matters. But it was a good day. It really was good. I came home in pain, and then knowing that I needed to take a shower because it was a hot day. And I was dancing. I got caught in the rain a little bit, but I was dancing in the rain. It was perfect. But then also my injury, I said, I can't do this. So getting in the shower, oh my word. Knowing that I had to wash, and I love hot water, and I wasn't going to sacrifice hot water for my toes. But once I got in there, the little sting first was like, you know? But then worse was the soap. I was like, I know I'm not supposed to put it on there, but it leaked. Like, it's on my feet. It's going to go down. I don't know what to say. And just taking that moment after 2 or 3 washes, it was like, okay. But even after, still open wound, right? I still had to put peroxide on it and wrap it up. So knowing that it's fresh out the shower and just, and it's all glory, I still sprayed it and just burning, stinging sensation. I was just like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. Now they're wrapped up and okay, still healing, a little swollen there, but my toes are cool. My toes are all right, and I'm all right. I had a good day. It was a good day. my other segment leads me into random thought, and my random thought for the day is just to make sure that I'm just not the only one who thinks of this, or that I'm not the only one. So with my bed, I sleep with my bed made. I have a blanket that I use to cover myself and put it over my bed. So when I'm up, the only thing that I have to do is just straighten out that blanket or put it away, straighten up the covers, fluff up the pillows, and then that's it. Um, the same friend that I seen that night before, when I first told him this, he was just like, "Yeah, that's just lazy." And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's smart. I think it's it's smart to me. I don't really have to do a lot in the morning. I can actually just focus on myself and just take the time to just relax on my bed if I want to stay in a little bit longer, and like not like, stay in and then make my bed up, get myself together. Where I stay in, just have to put a blanket away, get myself together. Timing on that, very different. Okay. One is quicker than the other, for sure. Very quicker than the other, that my bed is already made and I just have to put a blanket away or just style it on the end of my bed. I like it. I like it. Please let me know what you think. Because to me, it just makes sense. It really does just make sense. It was a very quick random thought, but now the next one that my last segment is appreciating the little things. Full circle, this was going to be the name of my podcast, but um, I still wanted to keep it somehow. I really, really love, appreciate the little things. It's just my ways of affirmation in the morning for myself, and just appreciating the most smallest things. So it will be very small. One of them starting off with mirrors, actually. I made a TikTok video about mirrors. For me, the mirrors just help me stop and appreciate what I look like, what I have on. Mostly like what I look like. I had some problems with just accepting my features and me being black. I was in a relationship where a person just didn't appreciate me as a person and my hair and whatnot. And then now, like, I take the time, like when I do my hair or just before I head out the door, I say my affirmations like, you deserve to be happy. I'm happy that you're in my life. I trust in you. I believe in you. You're worthy of love. That stuff, but also just looking and just being proud of just me, and just also the mirror. I'm like, wow, like these things really do. I wouldn't be able to see what I look like, before I head out the door. The mirrors in the car, just take a look. It's an amp up thing too. Just like hype yourself up in that mirror. Look at yourself before you get out the car. You're on a date, you go into the bathroom, like, I didn't know I looked like this. Dang, fix something a little bit here and there. I really do appreciate mirrors. I think when I was out at Target, they got their little stand at the home decor part, and the mirrors are there. And I'm like, wow, hey, I didn't know that thing was thangin' that day. But I just really do appreciate mirrors. Yeah. This was my first episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shonda. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you would like to share any experiences with me, please email me at imjustsharingpod@gmail.com. Thank you guys.